Hey Ninja Squad, welcome to the TENfold podcast, and I'm your host, Rachel Everington, wife, mother, agency owner, and entrepreneur, lover of coffee, music, and organization. I'm here to help people better and empower themselves to create and build an amazing life and career that they want and dream of by having powerful conversations, sharing other stories, providing motivation and inspiration that your dreams and passion is possible. Every month, our guests and I will be sharing our stories, our perspectives, and our knowledge on productivity, mindset, money, relationships, mental health, basically anything from light to heavy topics. I'll be dropping new episodes every first and third Tuesday of the month, so make sure to hit that subscribe button. Hey Ninja Squad, Rachel here. So welcome back to the TENfold podcast. It's been a while, but that is another story for another day. But today is going to be super exciting because one, it is May, and May is Mental Health Awareness Month. So I like to touch on mental health for this month with a few guests on the podcast, as well as a special episode from myself as well to talk about mental health. But today is going to be super fun and exciting because we actually have one of my ninjas on today's podcast, and we are going to talk about mental health and how to deal like when nothing goes as planned. And so please everybody meet Francesca. And she is one of my ninjas, like I had mentioned, and more particularly, she is my EA on my team. So she gets bombarded by all the little details and to-dos, both business and personal from me. So you can call her Chesca as well. I usually call her Francesca or Chesca, either way, depending how fast I want to type. And she is my favorite hashtag tiny boss girl who fills up her time with being a virtual assistant. She's a variety game streamer and mom. And I know she doesn't look like it. So those who are watching on YouTube, yes, she is a mom. And she's here today to talk to us about being a millennial middle child with an interesting and insightful background. So welcome, Francesca.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Yes, super excited.
So excited, yes.
So we are going to talk about mental health, and I'm thankful that you were one of the ninjas that had wanted to talk about it with me this month, and it's super important to me. And I'm and as you know this, that mental health for me and depression, anxiety, overwhelm, I really take that seriously for the team and for clients, because I think it's a conversation that always needs to happen. And I always want to make sure that the team and clients are always in a good place or coming from a good place. So why don't you let everybody know who you are, what you do, and what your story is?
Okay, well, my name is Francesca or Chesca. Like Rachel said, I am a virtual assistant and also a streamer. So I play video games online, and people watch me play and all that stuff. And I'm also a mom. I'm a very young mom, I guess. um, and yeah, I'm very excited to talk about mental health because it is something very dear and personal to me, and it's something I I like to be able to talk about it with people because it is a very important topic, and sometimes it can be very like taboo, like people don't want to touch on that, and they're because in all fairness it is very sensitive. So people are kind of like, okay, wait, maybe let's not talk about this because like I don't want to maybe like trigger anything, or so but I think that just talking about it, whether it be your own experiences or providing um like resources or whatnot to people who are experiencing mental health illnesses, like I think it's something we should just always talk about. We shouldn't be like scared to discuss it.
For sure. And
So
I feel like it's even more taboo too, because for those who don't know, I'm Filipino and so is Francesca.
mhm.
And so with our culture too, it really it just takes it to the next level, or that's what I felt
Mm-hmm.
anyways, when as growing up, we just didn't talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, let alone in our culture, it's like you always had to be strong, or if it was even talked about, then typically people would think you're just crazy,
Mm-hmm.
right? So what was like before, after, like what that looked like with you understanding what mental health was, like at what point in your life did you start to be aware that that was something that you were struggling with?
So I actually went back to school maybe like 3, 4 years ago, something like that. And it was around the time there was a college strike here where I am. It was a big college strike, and basically, like, we were out of school for like over a month or so. And it was just very stressful because it was also like my second last semester, and I was like panicking because I was like, oh my gosh, is this going to affect my grade? Like, I spent so much money on school, like what's going to happen? And I was just stressed out. And during that break, I was like, okay, I gotta like think of, or like do something that will kind of take my mind off of it. And this is like maybe a weird story, I don't know, but I was watching a Demi Lovato documentary, and she was talking about her mental health and how she got help and all this stuff. And I was like, you know what?
This
Like, I
isn't the
think
most recent one. This is
no.
back in
Oh,
the
but
day.
oh, that one touched me so bad.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I was
Let's
crying.
get into that later. But yeah.
Anyways, um, but yeah, the previous one, I was just like, okay, yeah, like I think I have like something similar to this. Like, I feel like there's something really like going on with me and all of that. So I actually like went to my doctor. I was said, okay, I think I want to, see what's going on with me, blah blah blah.
Is
Like,
this
I'm
before
feeling
or after you had a kiddo?
after after.
After. So did you think it was some postpartum? Like how much after, your kiddo was born did the
Oh,
like
she was probably 6 by then. So like way, way past
Oh, okay.
after.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. um, but to be honest, like I always did kind of think there was something like going on with me for the longest time because as Rachel was mentioning earlier, I am a middle child. But I have a very interesting situation where even though I was the middle child, I felt that I was treated more like the eldest child because my older sister is actually deaf, and then I have my younger sister. So growing up, I had to take care of both of them. So I kind of had like the the responsibility of the eldest child, but then like the I guess I don't know, with no attention of a middle child. Like, I don't know how to explain
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
So
Uh-huh.
so I was very like conflicted, I guess, of like what my role was in
Mhm.
like my family, because I'm like, okay, so like what do I be? Like, do I be the eldest or like not? Because then I wasn't treated as like the norm. I
Yeah.
don't know, right? So
Mhm.
yeah. So anyway, so what during that time in school, I went to my doctor and I was like, okay, like, this is going on with me. Like, I'm not necessarily having like really like bad thoughts, but I have like these thoughts that like I'm not worth it, or, like very low self-esteem, and just like, I don't want to do this. I have no energy for this. Like, I'm lethargic every day and like all that.
Mhm.
In the end, I was actually diagnosed with depression and anxiety. So um, I went through all of that, and it was a lot, like, especially during that time when school was on a break because of the strike.
Mhm.
Like, I was having a lot of like anxiety attacks because I was like, oh my gosh, like, am I gonna finish school? Like I remember one time I was in school. This was like after the strike, but I was still like really worried because we skipped so much school at the time, right?
Mhm.
So I was just like, okay, like what's gonna happen? Like, I have a test right now. Like, even though I studied, like, I feel like I'm not ready. And I'm just like there, like sitting with my friends panicking. And they're just like, talking like, ha ha ha, like, let's go out for dinner later or whatever. And I'm just like, I'll be right back. And I legit like stepped out into the staircase and I was just like, oh my gosh, like I don't know like what to do right now. And then I texted like my other friend and I was like, yo, like I'm like something's going on right now. Like
You're
I
having a
don't know.
panic
Like
attack.
exactly. Like at the time I didn't understand what was going on. I didn't know it was a panic attack. I was just like, wow, like all these emotions and I'm just like I'm so scared. Like I don't know what to do. Um Luckily though, like my school was very understanding, especially when I talked with the guidance counselor and such. Like as long as I was able to communicate to my teachers that like, I'm not having like the greatest day ever or like, this and that, they were fairly understandable. They were like, okay, you can take the test, but we will maybe deduct like 5% off or like,
Right.
I'll give you like a little bit of an extension. So they were very accommodating, which was very nice.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so I've kind of just been dealing with that ever since. But
So when you were diagnosed, did you tell your family right away, or did you kind of
um,
kept that a secret?
so I was actually very scared to tell my parents because for those who don't know, I actually had my child when I was 16. So that was a very traumatic experience as well, in the sense of like I could not bring myself to tell my parents I was pregnant at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so just me imagining talking about that I have this illness when people usually see me as like this very like cheery, like never sad kind of person, like, and then me coming up being like, yeah, I have depression. Like
Yeah.
it was kind of like, I don't know how they're gonna take it. Um, so I was very cautious with how to approach it first. I did definitely tell other people first before my family.
Mm-hmm.
I told like my close friends, my boyfriend, and I think I told my younger sister before telling my parents.
Right.
And then when I finally told my mom, um, it was because I wanted to tell her I wanted to pause my studies first because I knew that like I couldn't really continue and give my best to my schoolwork with
Mm-hmm.
the condition that I was in at the time. So I basically like brought her to her room and was like, Mom, like this is what's going on with me. Like I am, I'm taking medication for this, and I I just don't want to like continue right now. Like maybe later, maybe next year, but just like right now, I'm not ready. And luckily, like she was very understanding of it. And but the thing is, I feel like she was just a little bit more lenient with me because I actually already finished school beforehand. Like this wasn't the first time I went to college or anything like that.
Okay.
So in a way, it's like, okay, if you don't finish this, at least you still like have something in your background, like
Mm-hmm.
schooling in your background. Um, so
Were they
yeah,
paying for your school or?
no, it was
Okay.
all me.
Okay. I just find it funny sometimes, and that's especially just with anybody
Mhm,
where we get this fear of telling your parents we're going to pause school when it's like, um,
mhm,
you kind of start to wonder how that conversation is going to look because yes, they're parents, and of course they usually want the best for you, but at the same time, it's kind of like, well, that's none of your business because I'm the one paying for it, you
mhm,
know.
mhm.
So therefore, it's my decision.
Yep.
Um, but yeah.
Yeah, I totally get that. And it's a it's a tricky topic even to bring up now. Sometimes, like if I'm telling them, oh, I'm gonna go out to go get a refill of my prescriptions, like I'm kind of just like wary of them being like, what prescriptions, like what do you need, like them forgetting that I struggle with this like every
Right.
day kind of thing.
Hmm.
So I'm just like, I'm going out, and they'll be like, where? Just to the grocery, like, like I like probably I shouldn't avoid it, but I do because I don't want to have to go into this very heavy topic with them because I know how they can be, and sometimes they can and can't be understanding. So and then like you get in a heated argument and you're just like, I didn't really want it to escalate to this, and
Right.
it's
And that
it's a
hasn't
lot.
changed till this day.
To be honest, no. Yeah, like it, like maybe a little better, but it's
Mm-hmm.
still about the same thing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And I always think, like, with my parents, they were very, very old school, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's definitely a mentality that could have been improved on, but it's always hard to shift when that's really literally has been ingrained in them
Mm-hmm.
culturally, right?
Mm-hmm.
um but now that you've are aware of it, you've been living with it, dealing with it, how do you deal with it now? Like, how do you make sure that you're always in a good place, and if you're not, how do you deal with it?
So I've actually gone through like many occupations in my life so far. And
I
I
feel like
feel
that's
like
the
I've
difference. I've done that too, and I never like had a job for more than a year, except for like my last job before I started my business. But
Mhm. But like I feel like because I was changing a lot, like I didn't have a good like stable routine, I guess, because I was always like changing something. But now that I feel that I enjoyed the job I'm in, and I, to be honest, I really do see myself doing this for a long time because I love being at home. Oh, I love working from home. Like I was actually so excited that this opportunity came up and I was like, yeah, okay, I want to work from home for sure.
Oh, totally. Yeah, I
Um,
remember that. And I remember messaging you. I'm like, hey, come and apply. Like, and you're
yeah,
like, I don't know anything about this world. I'm like,
I
that's
know.
okay.
Yeah, I was like, you know what, this would be really cool. Let me just make a comment though. Like, I don't know what this entails. I don't know any of this. But like good luck, Rachel, finding someone.
Right. And my thing was, for, when it comes to like any job, like I feel like if you are resourceful and can figure it out and you're a quick learner,
Mhm,
then I am the type of person to give people opportunity.
mhm,
So I'm glad that it all worked out. You are
mhm, mhm.
you are awesome. You are a rock star. Um, but when you do, like I say, when you do have a bad day, and even unknowingly,
Mhm.
sometimes when it can creep up on you, right? Um, is there like anything in particular that you do that to kind of get you into a good headspace, or is it more needing somebody to kind of help you get to that space?
um so with my whole past and such, I've learned to be very independent, and to be honest, I don't really like talking to other people when I do get those, I guess, like episodes. I don't know.
Right.
But like those times, I really like to just kind of like shut everyone out and be like, don't bother me. Like, let me just wallow in this feeling for a bit
Mm-hmm.
and like, trust me, I will be okay. Just let me feel it all just to let it out.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so yeah, so that's mostly what I do. And then after I kind of like feel things out and I'm still feeling the way I feel, I'm usually just trying to distract myself, like playing video games or I don't know, doing lots of art stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and all of that.
Yeah, because
So
they could be therapeutic.
exactly, yeah. And like as much as I would want to talk to someone, like sometimes I'm kind of just like I don't want to have to keep repeating to people like what's going on with me. Like I wish I could just like uh use telepathy and be
It's
like,
so
this is what's
hard though
wrong.
sometimes, because we can't even articulate what is really going on in our
Exactly.
heads as
Yeah.
well, right?
Yeah. So I'm just like, you know what? It's okay. I'll just figure it out on my own, kind of thing. And for the most part it does work, but there are definitely a lot of days where I'm just like, I don't want to do anything. I don't want to work. I don't want to even do the things I enjoy. I just want to like lie in bed and just be like,
But I think everybody
Yeah.
needs those
Mm-hmm.
days. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I mean? I think people may look at it as, them being lazy, but I honestly I think it's just your body or your mind telling you it's self-care time,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Because I realized that too. And I honestly, when I've experienced that, and I always used to, was really hard on myself when I'm like, oh, I'm being lazy, I'm not doing anything. And that does kind of get you to a really negative headspace too.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I realized like, no, it's actually what my brain needs. It needs to like just shut down, shut off, because I'm continuously overthinking and thinking about people and thinking about the situation and thinking about the past and then thinking about the future, right? So
Mm-hmm.
um when I kind of reach those feelings, I know for sure like to really put like some headphones on and like meditate, like
Mm-hmm.
use a song from like Spotify or YouTube, and it's just and play it really really loudly, kind of
Mm-hmm.
like stay in my own head but also get out of my own head at the same time, and I think that really helps. And I totally understand of the being alone thing. I think
Mm-hmm.
I'm the same way. I don't want to, I feel like I don't want to burden people because
Mm-hmm.
even I can't explain what I'm thinking or what I'm feeling. I can brain dump it on my husband, and my husband is there to obviously listen. And he's a very empathetic person like I am too. So that's also partially why I don't want to burden him with what I'm feeling or thinking, because
Mm-hmm.
that is a lot of energy, right? Because I feel it too when he's, um, thinking things, or there's a situation that's coming up, whether personal or business. And for me, I rather just be alone, cry it out, like I said, feel the feelings and
Mm-hmm.
cry it out. And honestly, that is truly like every single time it works. Like when I'm in that, I know something is, my chest feels tightened and I'm getting headaches. Like I know that it's a good cry that I need to let out. And I don't even know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm crying about most of the time.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep.
I
Yep.
just know that something is bottling up subconsciously, probably, and I'm not aware of it. And it just needs to be let out. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but now let me, with all of that, knowing what you're knowing, everything that you experience, you mentioned that again, you're a mom.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you, how is life now that you experience that now, because now you have a child too, and especially with like kids these days and all the information and peer pressure and social media, like it's just another next level
Mm-hmm.
of consuming different types of information. um how are you like bringing up your child in our world today and ensuring too that they have like that support, and how, and if it's something too that maybe your child may experience of a similar situation that what you're going through, um how do you feel like you would be able to, well, one, how would you like feel about that, how would you think that you would be able to handle that?
Um, so basically, I once I found out I was pregnant and I knew I was gonna, have this baby, I was like, I want to do everything opposite from my parents. Like
I
that
know,
feeling where you're just like, I don't want to
totally.
be anything like them. I'm gonna be the best parent ever. I'm gonna give them everything they want. Obviously, that's not gonna be the case, but
And
like,
we will never tell our parents that.
Mom, if you're listening, I'm sorry.
Right.
but but to be honest, like especially with a lot of schools and stuff transitioning to online, and children not being able to see their classmates and all of that, I know it's a very different feeling for them because they were so used to seeing them every day, playing with them, all this stuff, and now it's all just confined to online. You can only play online games together, you can only talk online, like that's it. So it
Right.
is very different for them for sure. And I'm really happy that like the school board always sends emails of like resources for either the parents or even the students. Um, so that has been very helpful. Even being able to, discuss these kind of topics with the teachers is really nice as well. But basically, like if my daughter were to ever go through anything like this, I would want them to know that like I'm here as support for you. Whether you're looking for that support or not, like just know that like I'm here. Like
Mm-hmm.
I am more than willing to try and understand like where you're at right now, how you're feeling, like, just as long as you let me in and you let me be there for you, like I will give you my undivided attention kind of thing,
Right.
um but in the end, it's also the person who is going through that, they need to be the one to decide that they want help, right? So as much
Absolutely.
as I, let's say give my daughter like phone numbers to call or emails to send out to like whoever that she may want to trust rather than me, like at the end of the day, like she has to decide that
Mm-hmm.
she wants help for this, or like whatever it is, because I've learned a lot from the hard way that you can't really force help on people, unfortunately. As much as you really want to empathize with them and like help them out as best as you can, like there's nothing that's going to happen until they accept that help. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
So for
Mm-hmm.
those who are listening and are probably nodding their heads and saying been there done that, or even maybe someone questioning if maybe it's something that they're going through, um what would you say to them? What are the things that that they can um start doing or thinking about to move forward um and deal with it?
Mm-hmm. I would say a lot of reflection, because even before I finally went to my doctor to have her check me up and whatever, I was kind of like, wait, is this really what's happening with me? Like, am I sure? Or am I just like going through something right now? Like, I don't know. Like, this was like a completely like new idea to me. So I was like, I have no idea. So really a lot of like self-reflection. Um, if you have like a journal or something, like write it out. Like if, honestly, writing is so therapeutic.
It is.
It's it's such a nice thing to even like look back on later and be like, wow, I was like really happy that day, or like,
Oh, I refuse to look back.
really.
Yes, I do not keep journal. I keep journals to write in them, but once they're complete, I shred them. It's like I said, I think it has to just do with me being empathetic for me to
Mm,
kind of read back on what I went through. Like I think it just lives already as a memory or as a
hmm.
book in my head anyways. So I don't need to pick up something tangible and
I
see
guess,
it.
yeah.
And funny enough, my husband knows I journal too. And I said to him, oh, God forbid. I said, if I die the next day, I'm like, all those journals, he's like, don't worry, I'll burn them. And I'm like, okay, thank you.
Perfect. He understands.
He
Yes. Good
understands.
husband. Good husband.
I said, make sure our children never, ever find them. I said, if there's any journal specifically for them, I will let you know, like, which
Mhm.
journals are for them, for them to read. And not that when I quote unquote like write to my children in a journal, it's not all happies and rainbows. I will talk about like a difficult time so that they
Mhm.
understand the life that we had lived. But yeah, journaling is definitely therapeutic. And I think another thing too, for those who may or may not know, I had lost my dad, and um, one of the therapeutic things that for me was journaling, but it was more specific, like me writing a letter to him of the things like I wanted to say, knowing that I wasn't going to be able to talk to him anymore or call him. So, I mean, you know, if it you don't really know how to journal, you've never journaled before, sometimes writing a letter as if you're having a conversation to X person that you wish you could talk to about your mental health, then write it in a letter form to that person. And then obviously, I mean, totally up to you if you really want to give it to that person. But if that's just more so for you, for internal therapy, then keep it as a journal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But all right, so there you have it, ladies and gents. I don't know if there's any guys that are listening to my podcast, but you've heard it from Francesca, and she has mentioned some of the key things to how to deal with it, and you've listened to her experience, and so some of those things too you could probably take away and see if it's something that could work out for you as well. Was there any other pointers or advice that you would like to give, other than the journaling and just being able to talk to somebody?
I think just even researching for yourself, like available resources like near you, maybe places you can call, chat with, whoever.
Which is huge right now, since the
Exactly.
pandemic.
Yeah.
Everything is
So,
virtual. You can get virtual therapy now.
yeah, like if you don't want to talk on the phone, you could be like, hello, this is what's
Typing,
happening,
totally. Yes, I need to find
Exactly.
that app, and I will definitely mention it here next time, on the next episode if I could find it. But there is an app now for that you get assigned a virtual therapist, and you don't have to talk to them on the phone. You can actually just text them back and forth.
Ooh,
Yeah.
ooh. I would like to know that as
Yes.
well.
Well, I'll give that to do for you.
Oh, okay. Noted.
This is why I love Francesca. So like I could just like brain dump whatever like is in my head, and knowing I have a million things in my head that are happening. She and my team keep me sane, and that honestly, I have to say, is really good for my mental health. All right, so I just want to end it off with a few fun things and keep it, also keep it happy and fun towards the end, because sometimes, it can be heavy topics, and we hope you guys can resonate with her story, and that you guys were able to grab some amazing takeaways from that. But to get to know Francesca a little bit more, we're going to play some rapid fire questions for her.
Okay. I'm ready.
So, Francesca, what does success mean to you?
Finding my happiness.
Okay.
Yes.
What makes you a ninja?
I'm very fast with figuring stuff out.
What song do you hate right now?
Oh gosh. To be honest, I don't know. Wait. Okay, maybe it's not like a very familiar song, but there's like some really weird, creepy music that plays like when I play my games, and those I can't.
Oh, like
so
the
I always
eerie type of like music. Yeah,
so I
hate that
always
song.
just turn it down. So that one.
Do you have any pets? If so, what are they, and what are their names?
Yes, right here. This is Ebony. We adopted her 2 years ago. She's 11 years old this year.
Hi, Ebony.
This is her. She's a schnoodle. So she's a schnauzer and poodle. She's just been sleeping on my lap all day.
Aw, love it. All right. What is your most used emoji?
Oh, probably the heart eyes emoji. I feel like I always use that.
Right? We should test out the team to see like what their most common emojis are.
I mean, like in our team chats, it's always my thumbs up.
Oh, totally. Is it? For me, it's always a heart, because I feel like it's the best way to like, I'm sending love your way. Thank you for like commenting and responding to my question. All right. Well, that's about it. So let everybody know, how can people connect with you? Do you have like any services, products, a personal blog, or just a personal Instagram? How can they just connect with you if they have any further questions or want to talk?
If you want to watch some really interesting gameplays of like Minecraft, Animal Crossing, wholesome games like that, you can follow me on my Twitch. It is twitch.tv/Chesca continued. continued being CONTD, the short form of continued.
Mm-hmm.
Same handle for my Instagram. If you want to hire me as a virtual assistant, you can find me at tinypackage.ca, meaning I am the tiny boss girl. Yes.
Yeah. And all her links will be linked in our show notes on our website. So you guys could find her there and easily find the clickable links. And then we want to end it off. What are you thankful for?
This past year, I am actually very thankful for you giving me the opportunity to get away from my typical 9 to 5 and giving me a lot of time freedom. To be honest,
I love you.
Honestly, I was like, wow, all of this because of my planners. Yeah.
It's so true. Well, that's just a whole nother story. I think you and I have to jump on another podcast about like planners, but all right. Well, thank you so much for that. And I'm thankful for you having you on today's podcast. I'm thankful for you for being my EA on my team. So ladies and gents, thank you for joining us for this episode. Remember, count your blessings, not your problems. And I will talk to you soon. Peace out, Ninja Squad.
Peace out.
Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. I appreciate you. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and follow me on Instagram at Rachel Everington for more shenanigans. If you do share a podcast, please add hashtag TENfold podcast. And don't forget to join us every first and third Tuesday of the month. You don't want to miss out on all the awesomeness from this show. Peace out, Ninja Squad. No, seriously, get out of here. Love you. Bye.